Hey, what's up, job seekers? Hope you're doing fantastic. Just wanted to do my one of my quick weekly, additional tips. I wanted to spend a few more minutes talking about something I posted on my quick daily tip yesterday that I posted on Instagram as well as TikTok as well as YouTube. And what I spoke about was the importance of moving with speed and a sense of urgency, right? And I just wanted to expand on this a bit more with the hopes that all of you folks can keep this in mind and keep it in consideration for your job search. Now, the example I provided on basically what I told everyone on yesterday's quick tip was, look, if you're in an interview process or maybe you applied for a position, they finally got back to you, and they provide you with a couple of dates for interviews, right? Like, let's say they give you Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, right? And then maybe a couple of times, obviously, for those available dates for the interview. My advice was, look, as much as possible. Now, obviously, at your end, you got to figure out your schedule, right? So maybe that might take you a couple of days. Maybe you got to move some things around. But my point was, and what I was trying to make on that particular video tip is, you want to get in front of the hiring team, folks, as soon as possible, right? With the minimal amount of delay between them contacting you and saying, yes, we want to interview you, we want to schedule you in for a meeting. Minimal amount of delay between that and you getting actually in front of them for that interview. So as much as possible, like if the provided dates were Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you want to get in front of them as early on in the week as possible. I would say try to get in front of them by Monday, right? Now, you do want to give yourself time to prepare for the interview, do your research, make sure you're all set and ready to conduct the interview conversation properly, of course. Not saying to go in unprepared, like, say, yeah, I can do the interview in half an hour, and then you show up to the interview and it's all sloppy and stuff like that. No, I'm not saying that, folks. Like, give yourself a reasonable amount of time to prepare and get ready, but don't leave yourself too much time, right? Where you're going in for the end of the week. Now, I wanted to clarify why this is so important. And the reason for this is simply the way recruitment works, right? Like, you always got to keep in mind that if the position that they're looking to fill is an urgent fill, an urgent need at their end, the organization is going to move as soon as possible on the candidate that they want to move ahead with, right? Now, even if this is a multi-process, multi-interview kind of a process where they have multiple interviews in line, not everyone that they're going to consider at each stage is going to be moved on to the next interview, right? Because they want to make sure that the hiring manager's time is not completely consumed by interviewing people, because the hiring manager, the hiring team, they got their own core set of responsibilities that they've got to keep up with, right? Aside from this whole interview process that they got to deal with. So you want to make sure, what you don't want to happen is have the hiring team meet with a couple of great candidates early on in the week and then decide on, hey, you know what? We can just focus on these 4 individuals and move them along the process, because statistically, if there's 2 interviews in the process, for example, they select 4 people to move on to the second round from the first round. They know that of those 4 people, like, for sure, at least 1 or 2 of them are going to be the ones that they're going to put an offer letter in front of. So if you choose what I'm saying is, if you choose an interview date and time slot later on, right, from the given options, it's possible that you might miss out on being one of those individuals that they decide on early on in the week that they want to move ahead in the process, and might result in the remainder of the week's interviews being canceled, or even if those interviews are still scheduled, they're not going to be given the same level of serious consideration as the people who the hiring team might have met with early on in the week, right? So what I'm saying is, the reason why I'm talking about this importance of moving with speed and urgency and selecting interview times and dates as early on in whatever the options are as possible, is so that you can be in a position to be considered to be moved further along the process, versus you going in maybe later on in the week, right? Maybe you choose like Friday or something, which is the latest interview time slot. Hey, by then, folks, it's possible the hiring team might have already made its decision, right? Especially if it's like a one-shot interview kind of a deal, or even if it's like, multiple interviews, they might already early on in the week figure out who they want to move along into the second round, third rounds, fourth round, etc., etc. So just keep this in mind. That this is why I was saying it's extremely important for you to consider the importance of moving with speed and a sense of urgency when you're given a couple of time slots or a couple of dates. Try and move on them and try to get the date as soon as early on as possible, so you can at least be considered for the remainder of the process, right? So look, I hope this tip helps. Make sure you keep this in mind for your interview process, especially in a highly competitive market, folks. The current times that we're in, it's highly competitive, right? So you want to make sure you get in front of the hiring team as soon as possible. So look, I hope this tip made sense. Hope you applied to your job search. And just a heads up, I will soon be releasing my much awaited program, Applying to Jobs Online 101, the 3-step process to getting hiring teams responding to your job applications, right? So this is an awesome program. I'm just so excited about it because I've been working on it for the past couple of months. And it's a very concise program that where I teach you how to basically increase your responses from hiring teams, right? And this was since 2019, I've been conducting polls on LinkedIn, asking job seekers what's their number one challenge that they're facing in their job search, and getting no responses to their applications is like the number one thing I've been hearing from job seekers since I've been putting this poll up on LinkedIn. And the most recent poll from January 2021, so last month, where 429 job seekers voted, 76% said that no responses to when they apply online is the greatest challenge they're facing. That's 326 job seekers, folks, out of that 429. So look, I know a lot of people are struggling with this. So look, in the description, there should be a link for you to sign up to get notified when my program goes live. It'll be going live within the next couple of weeks, and I want to make sure that you stay informed about when it's getting released and what I'm covering. I'm covering my 3-step process on how you can increase your chances of getting responses from hiring teams, up to around a 20% increase in responses, folks. Maybe even more, depending on how well you apply what I'm teaching in the program. All right. So for more information on that, again, click the link in the description and stay informed about that program. I'm really excited about it, and I know it's going to help you in your job search. All right. So hey, take care, everyone. Keep pushing through in your job search, and talk to you soon.